Did you know that half of the world's population lives on less than $2.50 a day? That's really crazy. Getting the proper amount of education can help the world stay out of poverty, as well create better conditions for themselves and the populations of this world to better glorify God. Being a college student, a Christian, summer missionary, and world observer, I personally understand the issue of poverty in this world. This issue of poverty can be decreased through better education. So in the preceding minutes, I will be going over three main topics. The first, I would love to paint a picture of what poverty is in your head. And then I would like to talk about what lack of education can cause. And then I would like to talk about how education can help the issue of poverty. So my first point, I do want to explain to you what poverty exactly is. And poverty is basically being extremely poor, your needs are not being met. So here's a cool statistic. So around 22,000 children die every year just because of poverty. That's crazy. And then about 2 million children die every year because they can't afford health care and they end up dying because of a preventable disease that is very much treatable. But because there's so much in poverty, they don't obtain the resources to be able to get the health care that they need. And then around 1.6 billion people in this world live without electricity, which that's a lot of people. Yeah. And so education, or the lack of, causes poor conditions. So lack of education can lead to poor health, poor nutrition conditions. You won't have much access to the food that you need. Clean water, that's a huge one. Even in the United States, there's lots of people who don't have access to clean water. And then lack of education also leads to the lack of skilled labor. And then because of lack of skilled labor, it leads to less income, and therefore leads to poverty, and they will become impoverished. Education is the solution. Well, there's multiple solutions, and we won't ever get rid of poverty, but education can definitely help. So because education reduces poverty, this is a cool statistic I have for you. So 171 million children leave school with no reading skills. Now, if all of those 171 million children leave school with reading skills, then the world population, or the world poverty population, can drop around 12%. That's a huge chunk of our world population. Well, poverty population. Another thing that education will do will increase one's salary. So that one's more obvious. Education leads to more opportunities, lets you have the knowledge that you need to survive in the workforce. Education also gets rid of, well, not necessarily gets rid of, but there will be a lot less economic inequalities. Everyone will have equal opportunities. Everyone will go through the same educational experiences. So there won't be inequalities like that. So then this leads to my conclusion. The lack of education can cause poor health, and no skilled labor with more and better education. We can see an increase in earnings, a decrease of inequalities, and better living conditions for the people of this world. I would like to show you what's on this TV behind me. This is a map of the United States, and it shows the poverty within each state. And I would like to show you something interesting that I learned while I was researching for this speech. So you can see that the majority of the poverty in the United States is in the South. That actually it blew me away kind of, because all of these southern states outside of Florida is in the dark blue, and with that dark blue it shows 30 or more percent of that state's population lives in poverty. That really, it struck me. Like, I had no idea that was in my backyard. I thought I had it all figured out, but it really blew my mind. So I encourage you to open your eyes to the world around us and get involved with this issue.